and thank you for joining us today. My name is Jonathan, and I'm going to be introducing today's webinar, basically. So obviously, as you've probably already worked out, we're going to be covering the Diploma in Sports Business today, and I will be handing over to Adelaide United, who is happen to be attending today's presentation as well, who's going to go through the real nitty-gritties and about what the course is and what's involved in the course, and really answer a lot of your questions. I will leave them to introduce themselves because they've got some very important people there, so I won't steal your thunder. But thank you so much for today's attendance, and we'll get started. So first things first, Adelaide United, off to you.
Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Ruben Garcia. I'm the community manager at the club, and we've also got Chris Villani here, head of marketing and marketing and consumer business. Thanks for joining today. Obviously, hopefully the next couple of minutes we were able to answer some of your questions on what the diploma looks like and kind of what it entails next year working with us and studying with us. So yeah, obviously, as you know, we're Adelaide United. It's currently in season, a lot going on, and hopefully we get to see a lot more of you guys next year in the course.
All right, I might jump in now. So, by the way, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We are very excited to have you. My name is Chris Villani. I'm the head of marketing here at Adelaide United. I'm relatively new here. I've been here for 4 months now, and this is my first foray into the sporting industry. So I've been in FMCG primarily my entire career, and I've now had the brave step going into the sporting world, and it's certainly been a challenging but rewarding take so far. It is very fast-paced. It is a very diverse role as well. So as the head of marketing, my day could look like anything from having a press conference in the morning to posting some social content about a player in the mid-morning to then doing an advertising script in the afternoon to help people get to games or to develop a promotion about a new membership that we might have. So it's certainly a role in an industry that keeps me on my feet. Certainly very fast-paced as well. And one of the things I really enjoy about sport is it really is a week-to-week proposition. Your week starts on a Monday and it might end on a Sunday, and that's kind of like a little time capsule where if you win, it's a great week. If you lose, it's not so much of a great week. But, you know, that thrill of winning in sport, nothing can quite beat that. Even though that I'm not on the pitch myself, you really get that kind of enthusiasm and thrill from it. And there are probably a lot of unique things when it comes to sport. It's very diverse. It's very different to say marketing or advertising a can of baked beans, because this is something that people are so passionate about. They love it, they breathe it, and chances are you love and breathe sport and Adelaide United and football as well. And that's a really fantastic and unique opportunity. And what you're seeing on your screens now is a whole list of names who also love sport. This is just about half of our organisation here. All of these people started as interns here at Adelaide United and have made their way to employment here within the club. So even our CEO, this is even true of our CEO, Nathan, who started as an intern and now he leads the club. We've also got Ruben as well, who started as an intern and is doing fantastic things as well. And I guess the important thing about this is getting a foot in the door is so important. It really doesn't matter what level, and in reality, it really doesn't even matter what role. Getting a foot in the door, getting a little bit of experience, having a formal education behind you as well will absolutely go a long way. The sporting industry is relatively small in Australia. It's even smaller in South Australia. It's all about connections. It's all about getting your foot in the door. And I'm so glad and so excited that everyone has at least taken the start of this journey, and I wish everyone the best.
Cool, thanks, Chris. So I'll touch on the integrated learning opportunities within the diploma. As you might be aware, you have to undertake 50 hours throughout the year. Obviously, a main component of that will be helping out on game days, but for the structure, we get to break it down into a couple of different areas to kind of suit your interests. I won't run through all of them, but there are opportunities working marketing and media with Chris. This could be helping our social media guys capture content at training or in the games, but then also some behind the scenes stuff in terms of, seeing the data and see what works, what doesn't work. You'll be able to provide your recommendations and input into them as well. So as Chris touched on before, we're quite a small team. So you guys, whoever's in the diploma next year, you'll actually have quite a lot of input into the runnings of the club, which is pretty cool as well. Then another cool opportunity is operations and events. Obviously, we have 3 teams. We've got the A-League men, A-League women, and the youth team. So there'll be plenty of roles on that. That could be helping me out on game day, looking after the halftime games, or it could be helping our membership and ticketing guys with queries, or also helping our commercial guys with their functions up in their function rooms. And then my role as well, we've got community. We do heaps of stuff in the wider community of South Australia, a lot of user pay programs, but then we also jump into schools and look after heaps of multicultural and inclusion groups. And then another one is the football department. It's probably what everyone would be keen on, is interacting with the professional players as much as they can. But as we've kind of alluded to, there's a lot to go on behind the scenes to get everybody up and running for the games on Fridays and Saturday nights. So heaps to do, but like Chris started on before, said before, I beg your pardon, I would highly recommend to do as much as you can in this space, because when I was in uni, I did as much as I could. I started at Adelaide United as the receptionist. Did not want to be a receptionist at all, but it was an opportunity that came and presented itself, and I put my hands up, and I'm in a position now where I'm really passionate about and doing a lot of hard work. So that's kind of it from us. I'm staying to the end of the presentation, so if anybody has any questions, I'll be here to answer them. But hopefully we get to see a lot of you guys next year in the diploma. It's really exciting, and yeah, any questions, feel free to ask me. That's all cool.
Cool. I will note as well, just everyone that's currently in the webinar, there should be a question sort of dropout box available by default on the right hand side of your screen, but it's just part of that little go to webinar square. So any questions that you ask or anything you chuck into chat will be popping up kind of on that side of my screen. So we can see them as they go, and we'll try and answer them as best we can. And anything obviously Adelaide United related, I'll hand over to Ruben. Anything Flinders related, obviously I'll cover as well. So yeah, by all means, please freeform ask questions as we go. So thank you, Ruben. I'll be covering the application side of things, and I guess the Flinders side of things as well. There's going to be some things that do cross over, but I really want to cover the real, I guess, the educational nuts and bolts in terms of how the qualification works and the follow through the Flinders University pathway. So the first and foremost section is 4 really important factors from the diploma. Obviously, it is a diploma, so the duration, I suppose, is a little bit hamstrung in terms of how long we're allowed to run these. Obviously, a standard diploma will run for 1 full year at full-time study load, and it will be based at the Cooper Stadium and Flinders New City campus, right? So Ruben has already said as well, you're going to be doing a lot of hands-on practical work, which is honestly really, really good. You don't get that hands-on practical work if you start in just a general Bachelor of Sports Management. So you're actually benefiting more by doing the diploma. And as you can see on screen here, it is over 50 hours of practical work for the experience. Game day happens to be a large part of it. And honestly, that's sort of the more exciting part of probably for most students as well. So it will give you something that's a bit more hands-on unique. Not to allude to the fact, obviously, that there is more to sport, I guess, than just the game. It's actually a very obviously business orientated area as well. So there's a lot of things to kind of do, and honestly gives you a lot of opportunities to have a little different structures within the network as well. Okay, so based on that, if you were to complete your diploma and you just want to stay in the diploma and then go into the workforce, you absolutely can. You also do have guaranteed entry into a range of Flinders degrees, which we'll cover in just a moment. Before we do though, I do want to point out, I guess, what the trimester is going to look like for you as a student. So as you go across, you're going to be doing effectively 6 topics within our, or 6/7 topics within our diploma, and a practicum. Now the practicum is going to absorb 2 extra topics. So basically a trimester format is a bit unique, I guess, in the Flinders space. We typically run just regular semesters. So this one's just going to be done at an accelerated pace. And obviously, because we have to complete effectively the equivalent of about 9 topics, it's going to be sitting from the business of sport all the way down to introduction to sports law. All of them are fairly necessary, so you'll find that it's all very relevant to what you're doing, especially in your practicum as well. So it should feel quite, I guess, nested and at home in terms of what you're learning and what you're actually doing day to day as well. So if you were looking to expand your educational knowledge, I guess, after you've completed the diploma, as I said earlier, you have a guaranteed entry into list of Flinders courses. Now, the nested ones, so if you were to complete and then articulate, you can automatically gain entry into the Bachelor of Business of Sports Management. You'll also have the Bachelor of Business Regular and the Bachelor of Sport and Active Recreation. Because you've also completed a diploma, you'll also have a guaranteed entry into a range of courses through something that we call the Flinders TAFE link. So the TAFE link just alludes to the fact that it's a other qualification that isn't a bachelor's degree, but it doesn't necessarily have to be from TAFE. So as long as you have a diploma or a diploma level qualification, in this case, you'll be doing the Diploma of Sports Management, you'll actually have a guaranteed entry into about 73 other Flinders degrees as well, outside of these 3 as well. So it actually has a lot of merit to it, and it does have a lot of flexibility to it as well. Now, in terms of the entry requirements, realistically, we wanted to make this as accessible and as useful as we could for most users, right, or most applicants / students. So really, you could be anyone from a Year 12 student, someone who is returning back to study as well. You might have a lot of work and life experience under your belt that you're looking to do. You might be wanting to change careers. You can also sit the STAT test, or as I said earlier, you can use previous studies to of a Cert 3 or higher to gain entry into this one. So if you're unsure, obviously you can feel free to call the university as well. And we can try and go through some of the things you have access to and work out your best solution and your best entry pathway into the diploma, should you want us to rehash it for you as well. Now, in terms of the fees, the course is Commonwealth supported. So what does that mean? It's a long and convoluted little explanation, but the short answer is it is subsidised by the government. So the Commonwealth of Australia has decided that this degree is, I guess, valuable to the Australian economy, and they are covering a portion of the fee. So the fee at this point in time, indicative, is roughly about $14,000 for the diploma, and obviously this can be deferred through HEX Help should you be a domestic student. Now, the way HEX Help works is more or less once you've started earning more than $51,500 across the year, you'll then have to repay back whatever HEX Help loan you have in small installments, and it's a percentage based on your wage. So I think it starts somewhere around about 0.5 or 1% per salary intake, and then across your pay scale, it stops at about 140,000 plus. So once you get to that point, I think you're paying back about 10% of your wage until the loan is gone. It doesn't have compounding interest or anything like a mortgage does. There's just one indexation per year. Obviously, for fees, just contact the university and we can go through this in a little bit more detail. It's a little bit dry and boring for our webinar for today, but we're absolutely happy to cover it for you. Now, in terms of your applications, obviously applications are done a little bit differently as well, so you don't need to apply through SATAC for this particular course. You'll actually be applying directly to Flinders University, and those applications are open now, so please feel free to jump on the website and apply. We encourage you to do so because offers are obviously made between late December, so now really, and mid-January, which isn't a lot of time. So we really do want to make sure that you understand, I guess, the scope and the length of time that you have to apply. That's not to say, go out and run out and apply now, and make it really scarce. But we do just want to make sure that you understand that there is a limited time frame there that you can put those applications through. Other than that, I would love to invite anyone that has any other questions regarding the Flinders side of things or anything from the Adelaide United side of things to please put their questions in the chat now, because that concludes our side of the webinar today. So if you have any questions, by all means, please shoot them through. I will kill my webcam just because I don't want to sit here awkwardly and just stare at you until the webinar is gone, but I'll audibly still be very much available and I can answer questions either just via voice, or I can type them back to you depending on what kind of answer you require. And Ruben, I'll sort of yell them out if they're Adelaide United for you as well. Otherwise, thank you so much, everyone, for coming along. Is there anything you'd like to add at all today, Ruben? Or
yeah, I should have touched on it earlier. So a lot of the content is obviously will be delivered by Flinders staff, but we will be present in a lot of the lessons with guest presentations from, they can be our playing group, but then they can also be from people like Chris talking about our marketing strategy, me talking about our community strategy. So you'll see a lot of, there'll be a lot of input from our staff on top of your work placement. So instead of always hearing from your teachers about stuff, you're going to hear firsthand professionals talking about how we actually do what you're learning as well. So that's pretty cool. That's not what you normally get in a lot of degrees or diplomas. So it's quite unique, and also, yeah, you just get that firsthand insight. So yeah, just wanted to add that as well. Thanks, Jonathan.
yeah, thanks. And it's really important to know, and you're absolutely right. It's very different and unique from a regular Flinders University degree. So absolutely, no, it's a very valid point. Okay. Oop, too far. Cool. Ryan, what I'll do is I'll wait for the rest of the questions to come through, and then I can send you a link to the application form. But it is on the website there. I'll see if I can find it for you in the interim. I'll just answer everyone else's questions first. Yes, so the credits, so Casper, the credits transfer from the diploma into the Bachelor of Business Management. So yes, so you start in the second year of that bachelor's. You wouldn't start in the first year, correct? Stop sharing my screen. Just have a look. Whilst we're waiting for some more questions to come through, I'll find that link for you now, Casper. Cool. Ruben, this may be a question for you. So Tab has asked, so thank you for the presentation, yay. And then will the non-practical content or contact hours, sorry, be mandatory face-to-face, or will there be available for online hybrid facilities?
I believe it has to be face-to-face. Well, we would like, I know, I'm pretty sure, well, this probably you could answer that more. I'm pretty sure they don't do online for the diploma. But yeah, we would like the work integrated learning to be face-to-face. We understand that people have probably got work commitments and everything else where we can be flexible in parts, but where we, yeah, long story short, we prefer face-to-face, but we are flexible in some aspects. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and from the Flinders perspective, there is the availability to be a little bit flexible with it, but there are some face-to-face hours that you'll need to meet, unfortunately. And usually those are delivered between the normal 9 to 5 hours that we have available. So just please keep that in mind, and that's very much the same as our Diploma of Sports Management through Port Adelaide as well. They're very much the same sort of core structure there. So please keep that in mind, that you won't be able to do it exclusively online, I think is the big one there. Excellent. So the diploma starts in February. So you'll have to keep that in mind as well, Sienna. Hi, Adam. That is correct. Yes, you'll go into the second year of the bachelor's should you complete it. Okay, Ryan, so in order to apply for the diploma, what you'll need to do, I'll send this to you as a message just so you've got it written down as well. But what you'll need to do is to apply for a Flinders University account, then apply directly through the student systems. And I will also provide you with a link to the direct application form, which will be right here for you. Here we go. Now, just let me know if this works for you, because sometimes GoToWebinar does not like you sending links. Great. Hopefully that works. I'll wait to hear back from you first. Fantastic. Excellent. Brilliant. Does anyone else have any other questions they'd like us to cover, or anything that we can help with today before we end today's webinar? Just give people a few moments, but if I don't hear anything, thank you so much for coming along again. And also thank you, Adelaide United, for your time. It's been really, really handy. The diplomas and the different diplomas, I guess, that we're launching across the university tend to be fairly unique and fairly specific, I guess, to the kind of work environments that you work in. And they're very different, I guess, from the normal bachelor's degree. So it's really good to hear from you guys in terms of just what's available, what's actually happening, and just give people a real good perspective, really, on what kind of things they will be doing, because it is very different. Ryan, yeah, the course is going to be offered in the city, so it's going to be across the Cooper Stadium and the city campus. How many available spots are in the course? Yeah, so this is an interesting one. I'm not sure if there's an internal number from the Adelaide United perspective, but as far as I understand, the very, very first time the diploma was run, I believe we took about 50 students. The last time it was around 30. This particular diploma is a little bit newer, but that's sort of the number that tends to happen around the sports diploma suite that we have. I'm not sure if Adelaide United has like an internal top maximum available, or no. Great. Yeah, so as many people as would like to do the course in theory. I'm assuming that there would be some crazy number that if we reached would have to turn people away, but there's no number that that we have on record for you. Seems to be it. So again, thank you everyone so much for coming along, and thank you, Adelaide United.